Well, that's the thing. That's what's so at the tension of, and I guess is what
That's what we're
because
here
at
to
the end,
do.
what do you sacrifice it? Because I think going back to, what we're talking about, like John Elway, if anybody it came out as Peyton Manning's company, I think produced this,
Omaha.
yeah, Omaha
Uh,
Productions through Netflix. Some of y'all seen it, came out during around Christmas time. It's really interesting. It's hard to sum up a whole guy's life or even career in an hour and a half documentary. But there was something like, as a sports fan, I knew the story of Elway, his sports story.
hmm
Guy for 16, 17 years struggled to win the Super Bowl.
hmm
Was a great quarterback, first overall pick, had success early in his
Stanford.
20s.
He,
Stanford
yeah.
baseball player and football player. Um, didn't win a lot in college, but that's you played for Stanford, that kind of
Right.
part of it, right?
Right. Right.
Uh, but it had insane numbers to the point he's number one overall pick. But he doesn't win the big one, but he meets his wife at Stanford. Has they have end up having three kids during his career. Um, but there's always this thing he's chasing, and it was a little they kind of hinted at it throughout the documentary with his kids. Like this was the 100 pound, 1,000 pound gorilla in the room
Yeah.
in our house was this weight he was carrying
hmm
of from the organization, from the fans, from the media of like I'm the guy who screws it up in the big game,
Yeah.
or I can't win the ultimate prize in my profession, which I phrase it that way for a reason, right? Like that's what we always think.
Yeah.
But but then he gets into his career the last 2 years, he wins the Super Bowl, and even this last year, um, he wins the NFL. He's the Super Bowl MVP, and it's like, man, wow, what a story of resilience, mind, this pursuit of the ultimate prize in the ultimate team sport, right? And even his teammates praised him. He wasn't an ego guy. He was a team guy. He played cards with them. He
hmm
showed up. He did more the work behind the scenes. People and like some of his teammates say, like no one knew really how hard he worked.
hmm
As talented as he was, he could throw a football, through a wall kind of guy. Like, but he showed up and did the work. Well, he then like they then get to where hell, we win Super Bowl MVP, and he's like, oh, and then I retire. So I had the loss of my football career, and then he goes, and then it says, well, then I had the next 2 or 3 years of the hardest of my life ever. Lost my twin sister to cancer, lost my dad to a heart attack, who he was close with, and then was divorced. And you're just like, man, you kind of like he sacrificed ultimately what we think from a distance is like that's a good thing. He put his teammates first, he put the work first, he put the time in, he overcame obstacles. I mean, you it's an admirable story.
Yeah.
So this is where like going to your question of good and bad sacrifices, like, man, this seemed like a good sacrifice, but then you're always giving something up and you
Well, it
hear
seems good because he got the result he was seeking.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which we as got is like it's he wasn't a drug dealer. He
hmm
wasn't like
Yeah.
a used car salesman. He
Yeah.
wasn't doing nefarious stuff. It was like, oh man, he was in a team sport pursuing the ultimate goal. Um, but you start hearing like they didn't dwell on it, but there was something like man, more time with my dad, more time with my sister. Basically, I lost my family because I pursued this thing. Lost my wife, my marriage fell apart.
Yeah.
Like all these things that he lost because he chose this.
hmm
And you're like, there's just that tension you feel when you hear stories like that.
I would imagine that once you retire or you get out of
Mm-hmm.
the constant grind of trying to
Mm-hmm.
achieve whatever you're trying to achieve and things quiet down, I wonder if the things that you sacrificed along the way get a little bit louder
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wonder if
Yeah. And
you start to see it more
right.
clearly,
And
you know?
it's wild. I mean, I'm sure there's part of him that goes, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world because of what I accomplished and who I did it with, and that's good and wonderful. But then there's also like, and of course his kids at the end of the documentary, it's like, oh, now we're great.
Right.
Now he's a great granddad. It's great seeing him with our kids.
But you'll never get that time back.
But there's not like there's something too of like, and this is what I think was important in the conversation of sacrifices. What, and this is as a Christian, you need to think about what I'm going to be held accountable for. You know, that's the tension. It's like as a man, like what at the end of my life? Okay, yeah, did I provide for my family 100%? Well, what about the other stuff? Was I there for my son in his hardest moments? Was I there leading my wife well and loving her and showing up for her? Like, do you think God's going to care more about that? What did I do with like my closest friends and community? Did they know me? Did they know, like, did I, yeah, I don't know. There's just so many things I think that go down the list that are, um, as men, we kind of lean towards the profession side.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I'm going to leave my mark.
Yeah.
And it is good to a point anyway. And I mean to continue to use sports analogies like we never do that,
No, we
right,
never
Bo?
do that. It's
I
not
think
all we know.
yeah, but it's on top of mind, that's for sure. Uh, well, Scotty Scheffler this summer said it
Yeah.
at the Open Championship, as they
Yeah.
say across the pond.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
As we say, the British Open,
Right. British Open.
them Brits. Right?
Yeah.
Because we have an Open too.
Yeah. The
Uh,
real one.
right, the real one came about 50 years after, but
Yeah.
anyway. But yeah, he said it in the press conference. He goes like, like he's like, I love the grind, the process. I love winning golf tournaments, but it's not what motivates me. It's like my son.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
And then, of
Yeah.
course, I mean, I'm going here because I think this is just fascinating me. I've been wanting to talk about this because it jacks me up, this stuff. And then Tom Brady chimes in
Uh-huh.
on it's like, hey, it's not either or, it's both. When there's time to pursue your career and be great at what you do, and then there's time to be with the family. And it's like, and of course everybody chimes in. It's like, aren't you divorced?
Yeah. Look at the.
You know, and you're
And
like,
that seems harsh to say, but it's true.
but there's, I mean, it's like, I
You
don't
know?
think he's the guy to talk about this. It's like, because at some point you will have to choose. He's right to a point. I think I even commented on what he said. He's like, he's right to a point, but at some point you're gonna have to choose. Is it
Well,
my family
yeah.
or is it my career?
Yeah, I love that
Or is
because
it greatness, right?
yeah.
The link.
Well, because it's I was reading, I can't take
Hmm.
credit for this. I was reading something else, but sacrifice, the idea of sacrifice, not the idea, the
Hmm.
existence of sacrifice is a law. It's not just an idea,
Hmm.
right? Sacrifice is something that we have to learn how to navigate. I don't know if that's
Hmm.
the right word,
Yeah.
but sacrifice will be in your life, whether you know it or not. You're sacrificing something, whether you know it or not.
Hmm.
And I thought that was interesting because you always kind of view like I always viewed like sacrifice as like, um, well, that guy's having to do that because he's,
Hmm.
super busy, or like,
Yeah.
this guy's having to do that or whatever because
Hmm.
sacrifice is kind of unique to them,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. Sacrifice is for everybody, and it's really good if you're in your 20s and 30s to at least understand that it's not just an idea. No, it's a law that it will take place in my life.